All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Chelas con Chavos. I'm here once again with Miguel. I guess you want to call this the World Cup edition.
Yeah, World Cup Offseason edition. Let's whatever we want to call it today.
Yeah, this is just straight up just talking about what's been going on in the soccer world right now. There's obviously the big World Cup action going on, and obviously a lot of big news coming out of the San Diego Loyal camp. But we'll get into that a little bit later. But what's up, man? Haven't talked to you in a while, man.
No, man, it's been pretty good. I've been pretty busy ever since I just got back. I just moved into a new apartment with the wife. Um, and then just kind of catching up with work. Finally doing something other than Loyal and Padre talk for a while. So this is kind of like everybody's off season in San Diego.
Yeah, I hear you. So, I mean, obviously we know what happened with Loyal, and the World Cup, started, a few weeks after, the USL crowned their champions, right? San Antonio, but I mean, yeah, I mean the soccer world never ends, right? There's always something to watch, and that's what I love about soccer. That it's, we're obviously upset what happened with ST Loyal, but we have the World Cup going on, and there's a bunch of news going on right now. But I'm getting prepared, man. I got my little Chela right here. Tomorrow's an early match. Tomorrow we got some pretty big games, in the World Cup. What is it? Brazil, Croatia, right? And then Argentina and Netherlands here in the World Cup semifinals. I'm actually going to be for the semifinals. But what do you think about what do you think about the World Cup so far?
You know what's been it's been interesting. It's different having the World Cup in the wintertime, especially during the Christmas season and the holidays. I think it's kind of brought a new dynamic into it. People are they're not as I could definitely tell you during the summertime, I think people are just kind of out and about a little bit more. During the wintertime, I feel like people are just kind of watching, with home and families, especially the time of day that everything comes by. But so far it's been pretty entertaining. Not really a big fan of the host country that's hosting it. There's a lot of positive stuff coming around, but at the same time, there's just more negativity around the whole aspect of it. Um, but from the soccer standpoint, I feel like there's a lot of surprises happening, and it all started off, with Argentina losing to Saudi Arabia. It's just
Boom. Yeah.
the way that teams are moving forward and everything. I mean, Mexico was a goal away from moving ahead, um, and then South Korea just sneaking by. Like Japan taking the group. It was just it's been a very interesting World Cup altogether. And now with the quarterfinals, it feels like the only surprise is just Morocco, to be honest. But other than that, I mean, it's been pretty good. Competition's been,
Yeah.
it's been up there. I don't know. It just feels a little bit different than most World Cups.
Yeah, and also, there's generations of some of these international clubs that are pretty much, on their last World Cup. Uruguay, it got knocked out. But Suarez and Cavani are gonna pretty much, this is basically their last World Cup. They're already in their 30s. So I really don't expect for them to be playing in the next World Cup here, here in U.S. and Mexico and Canada. Same thing for Messi. He's 35. He'll be, Ronaldo's age, 38,
Yeah.
39. Ronaldo's obviously, I just mentioned 38, 39. And then, so there's a lot of these teams that have been, pretty much reigning supreme, in the soccer world, are kind of losing that golden generation. But however, there's teams like England who have a lot of top players, and Netherlands, USA is looking really good too. But they have a lot of young players. Mexico is starting to have some issues, and that we'll get into that in a little bit. But there's Uruguay, how I just mentioned. France, they're talking about they're getting older too, but you have Mbappe, who's like the new generation. So it's like an interesting moment in like the soccer world when it comes to international
Mhm.
these international goats, like you want to call it. When Messi, Ronaldo, they're getting up there. Then the talk of Messi coming to the USA next year, going to Inter Miami, and then Ronaldo, I guess like he's having kind of issues right now with wherever he's going. Where with the national team, about him being benched a couple of days ago. He played a couple minutes, about 20 minutes in the last of the match, and didn't really show too much, but had a goal called off sides. But still, we're gonna have Messi here probably in a year. Uh, in MLS, and Ronaldo, I'm hearing he's signing for some Arab country team. I think I'm not sure where, the Saudi Arabia. I'm not sure where it was at. But
I think
yeah,
it is Saudi
yeah,
Arabia now. Yeah, it's definitely one of those rumors that's kind of up there. I mean, just I think they're offering them some sort of ridiculous amount of money, and I mean, honestly, I mean, just a little take on that. I as a player, it's a lot of money. Would I take it? Probably. Would I be happy with myself? Probably not.
no, yeah, and I kind of lost a little bit of respect for him with that because like he's already up there in age. He probably has like one 1 or 2 years, left in a max. I think depending on whatever, it doesn't really matter what league he's in because he's going to be hitting 40. So I was kind of really hoping he would come to the U.S. Can you just imagine, just having his stardom, his star power out here, um, here in the States, probably playing for Galaxy or something like that, while Messi's playing for Inter Miami, and then having like a final be of like, Galaxy, versus Inter Miami, like in the MLS, final and stuff like that. But that doesn't look like it's going to happen. But hey, that's kind of his choice. But Messi will be here, so we'll see what happens with that. But speaking of the World Cup, I kind of want to get your input. Kind of moving along here, because we got some big games tomorrow. So I'm getting really antsy about tomorrow. We got Brazil, Croatia, the first match at 7 a.m. Pacific time here, and then Argentina, Netherlands, the 8 o'clock. I'm sorry, the 11 o'clock game. So it's really big matches tomorrow. But obviously, we know that Canada got wiped out of the World Cup. Mexico, collapsed as well, and then USA, they're the ones that have the longest run, and they got knocked out as well. But good things to see from the USA squad, and then but the thing I wanted to talk to you about was with the Mexico squad. Kind of want to see what you thought about that, and as well that Mexico, USA, and Canada, obviously are not going to have qualifications for the next World Cup because they're going to be the host countries. So another big news is that Ecuador was going to host the Copa America in 2 years, and they had to resign from that due to the country's going through a couple of issues right now financially, or if not, as stability wise. So it looks like it might be held here in the U.S. But just because the main thing is here is that Mexico, Canada, and U.S. are going to need to play those quality games. That was a big thing that they're talking about. Mexico was that they're out of the Copa Libertadores. They stopped playing in the Copa America. And there's a lot of analysts and that are saying that Mexico and USA mainly really need to step up their game in playing these higher tier teams, so like they can get past the group stage easily and go do a deep run in the World Cups. So I want to first of all ask you what do you think about the whole Mexico situation and kind of what's going on with the qualifications and playing in the eventually in the Copa America.
Yeah, I think Mexico, they were obvious lack was they had no forwards, right? They had no goal scorers. The only thing that was kind of holding them back was having that ability to score goals. Um, uh, the first game against Poland, I thought they played really well. They had some opportunities that they could have capitalized on, and then they didn't. Um, uh, you know, then the game in Argentina, that one really kind of upset me a little bit because they were just kind of they were playing a tie, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, that kind of hurt them in the long run because um whenever Mexico tries to play to tie, they always end up just dropping back, and they always just end up losing. So I think we would have been better off if we lost just 1-0. But the fact that they let that second goal
Yeah.
in, um, that really kind of messed them up in the long run. That kind of forced them to have to put up a big number against Saudi Arabia. Um, Overall, I was not unhappy. Well, I say overall, I was not super upset, but I was unhappy with the team that they took out there. I think Tata really messed up by not taking Chicharito. I think that
Yeah.
kind of that should have worked out pretty well in the long run. And then Vela could have probably come in pretty handy as well. But I mean, Vela didn't want to. I don't think he wanted to play in the World Cup regardless. Um, but I have big hopes for the next coming World Cup. I have big hopes because the coaches that they do bring in, I believe are going to be more. Sorry, my mic's cutting off a little bit, but yeah, I believe the new coach that whoever they're going to have to bring in, they're going to have to start investing in that youth that Mexico has, and that thought that was on that he didn't want to start you know taking advantage of, and we we saw what happened with the USA. Sorry about that, man. My mic's terrible today.
I hear you clear. You're going well. Yeah. I think it's just on your end, but I hear you clear.
Oh, okay. And the way Tata kind of just he should have just invested in the youth a little bit, just the way the kind of US did. And now the US is in a great position for 2026. So I think Mexico has 4 years to put together a very competitive squad, and they got to find the right coach that is going to be able to find that talent back and then mold them into a very competitive team because I mean nobody wants to be the next Qatar, right? Nobody wants to bow out in the first round. Even that's the first time in the history of the World Cup that ever happened. Um, so there's a lot of options out there. I'm very excited to see who they're going to bring in for a coach, and who the short list is. Obviously, I think I have a feeling it might be Piojo or the coach for Pachuca. Those guys might be the next leaders in the for the Mexican squad. Piojo obviously he's a fan favorite, but he makes decisions based on emotion, and that kind of that can kind of that can bring him down. That's has been his downfall.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of options out there, and you're right, man. With the Copa America coming around, I mean, I've always been a big fan of especially because the World Cup host they don't get to practice that much, right? I mean, you know that. Um,
Hmm.
I've always felt like every federation should invite the World Cup host to participate in their competitions just so they can have that level playing field going into the tournament.
Yeah, that's a good thought right there. Yeah, meaning that maybe like the Asia Cup or UEFA, the UEFA League, the Euros, maybe even who knows, some type of tournament that Europe's holding the UEFA to invite the World Cup hosts, also in Asia or even the African Cup of Nations. So they gotta uh, play that top talent because they're not going to have qualifications, and then it's actually kind of causing turmoil a little bit in CONMEBOL because in CONMEBOL there's going to be 6.5 tickets for the World Cup in 2026, meaning eventually basically seven. And I heard that Australia, but Oceania is going to have a direct ticket, so meaning that Australia, like for this past World Cup, Australia had to play Peru, and Peru and Australia tied, and Australia won in penalties. So that's not going to happen. It'll be most likely Australia getting that ticket directly without having to play a playoff against a CONMEBOL team. So meaning that a CONMEBOL team is going to end up having tickets to the World Cup, and CONMEBOL is really not well. They're saying that it's basically, what's the point of playing all these games if only three teams are going to be knocked out? Like basically, I mean, it's basically going to be like Venezuela or Bolivia, and maybe Paraguay or something like that. They're probably not going to be able to make it. But they're kind of just struggling with the idea that what's the point of Brazil and Argentina, calling up Messi or Neymar, and then just because they're 99% of a chance for them to make it without even calling Neymar and them. They could just say, hey, I don't want to go to the qualifications because we're gonna make it. So they're talking about that's going to lead to a downgrade of the CONMEBOL qualifications just because of that. So there's a lot of things going on with that, and that's another big reason why the CONMEBOL and CONCACAF are kind of talking about this whole Copa America thing because they want to invite the top tier of CONCACAF, which is obviously going to be USA, Canada, Mexico, and then the other three. There's talks about a total of six, inviting either the top ranked teams that are in the or the top point, the ones that have the most points in the hexagonal, I guess the previous one, whether it being like Honduras or Costa Rica, Panama, but the higher echelon of the CONCACAF teams, I'm in there, so at least there'll be some more better competition than playing like Martinique or Cuba or something like that, in the Copa America. So they want to have some of the better teams in there. But yeah, there's a lot of interesting things going on this hemisphere after, especially when the World Cup ends. On this side, our end, what's going to happen with the Copa America and the Copa Libertadores. Receiving some Mexican teams, most likely again, just because they need to up their game in talent and play against these Brazilian teams, these Argentinian teams, in South America to up their talent. So, but yeah, a lot of interesting stuff going on right now.
Yeah, I mean, and you just kind of take into that. So it could be a possibility too, where the CONMEBOL just kind of has the same amount of automatic berths, and then the remainder of the teams will just play like some of the remainder of the CONCACAF, and then figure out the berths from there too. Because I mean, you can't have what do you mean? CONCACAF has right now what three automatics or four automatics? Is that what it is?
I believe it's three. I think it was just three.
Three
I don't know.
automatics and then one for the
Yeah,
playoff, right?
I
So I mean,
believe so. Yeah,
it could always be one of those things, but because well, Concacaf definitely is one of the bigger confederations, just because we have so many small nations. And I think Australia actually qualified through Asia, so the Oceania one is just New Zealand and all the little tiny micronations out there. And Australia made that move to Asia just because of that
right.
very reason, that they needed competition. If they wanted to grow the sport in their country, they needed to compete. So they made what I think is a smart move, to move over to Asia to get that higher level competition now. And I mean, they're
Yeah,
succeeding. They're doing great, and you never know. I mean, for North America, I mean, it could be one of the just in the Americas in general. It could be one of those things where the CONMEBOL still has the four automatic berths. Everybody else, like maybe like the next three qualifiers, get into a group with the next three qualifiers from CONCACAF, and then from there figure out the other like four or five entries. So
yeah.
that could be another way forward, instead of just giving Argentina and Brazil and Colombia, automatic, or no, like semi-automatic, because yeah,
Yeah.
they only have like what, 7 or 8 teams in the whole confederation, or
CONMEBOL
some
has 10 total.
10. Yeah, so
Yeah,
they play eight. Their qualifications only 18 games, right?
right.
Yeah, nine. Yeah, eight, home and away. That's all it is.
Right.
They play each other once, and that's it. So I mean, it could be one of those things where they're gonna get creative. But I mean, the thing about with FIFA that they always kind of mess up about was they don't like confederations, especially CONMEBOL, uh, using the top American teams, because that kind of messes with the whole the whole confederation aspect, right? Like
Yeah.
I don't even know why they care, to be honest with you, because um it should just kind of be automatic. But that's another thing that FIFA just wants to be able to control everything and anything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but again, there's going to be a lot of interesting stuff going on in the soccer world when the World Cup ends. But just kind of finishing off what's going on with the World Cup. But I want to see who your pick is for the final.
So in my bracket that I filled out, I actually did pretty well in my bracket so far. The only ones that I lost was um for this portion of it, I lost Senegal. I had them beating England first, and then I had Japan going through. That didn't actually work out too well either. Uh, so I had them beating Croatia. So that kind of didn't. But I think it's I have Brazil and Portugal in the finals, and I
Ooh,
have Brazil
interesting.
winning it all.
Yeah. Oh man, this is it's getting tougher now just because like the way Portugal played a couple days ago against Switzerland was so impressive. Like I thought they were pretty decent.
Six to
Um,
one, dude. That's
yeah,
pretty fucking
but
good.
man, they really just took it to Switzerland like really, really bad. They pretty much embarrassed them, and that and again, Ronaldo's kind of finishing off his career, internationally, and they got a lot of good young talent there in Portugal, but they're playing as a team, right? And then in England and France, that's going to be a tough matchup. But I'm going to call it tomorrow. I think that Netherlands Argentina game. I think Netherlands going to get past them. I think Argentina hasn't really met a match, or they haven't played a match like this in the World Cup so far. I think they're pretty weak in a couple areas, and I think Netherlands going to expose them tomorrow. So, and I'm going to see it's going to be a tight match against Croatia with Brazil, but I think Brazil is going to go through, and then Brazil is going to take Netherlands and go to the final. And then the Portugal Morocco game is gonna, man, these games on the other side of the bracket with Morocco, Portugal, man, I can't. I, ooh, man, it's gonna be tough. I can really see Morocco kind of getting past Portugal and miraculously, kind of being like a some kind of miracle. But with the England France game, I just can't really call who would win that. Like I want to say France would get past just because of Mbappe. He's like on fire, right now. So I think, but I think at the end of the day, in my thought, I think I want to just see where I'm seeing just a Brazil versus France final, in my opinion. Um,
Yeah,
but
I
let's
mean,
see
we
how it
both
turns
got
out.
Brazil going through, so I still think Brazil's gonna take it all, to be honest with
Yeah,
you. But like I said, Portugal did
yeah,
look pretty impressive. In that, and yeah, maybe it's just I don't know. It was probably just a random pick, but as far as brackets goes, they seem to have one of the easier paths going to you know, to the final. That's why I picked them.
yeah. Yeah, Brazil's they got so much talent. They got like their B squad is like an A squad, for the rest of these like
Yeah.
nations. You know what I mean? So they got so much depth. So it's like I don't see them losing this World Cup. I think they're way too
What are
talented.
your predictions for the
But
quarterfinals?
yeah,
Yeah,
what
what
were
are your
they?
predictions for the quarterfinals? Yeah, see, you got Brazil and obviously France because you got them going to the final. What about Morocco, Portugal, and Argentina and Netherlands?
Um, well, again on that side, I think Portugal is going to get past Morocco,
Hmm.
and then and again England and France. I think France is going to take that match, just because of Mbappe. Um,
Netherlands
and
look pretty good too, man. I don't know if I don't know if Argentina's got. They're good, but I don't know if they got that much talent.
yeah, it's gonna be great. Tomorrow's gonna be a great football day for sure.
Yeah,
So kind of let's see what happens there.
yeah, definitely
But
looking
yeah,
forward to it.
yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be crazy, man. This World Cup's a lot of good matchups, but again, how you said earlier, not really too much of obviously, well, not a fan at all. What's been going on, kind of in back, behind the scenes, obviously with Cutter and what's been going on over there and stuff like that. But game wise, I think the games have been pretty great.
Yeah,
So so moving along here, man, let's get into some ST Loa juicy stuff, man. How about it?
let's do it, man. Let's do it.
Yeah. So what do you want to get into first? Well, we got the whole landing thing or the roster thing.
So you know what? Let's just go with the first news that dropped, and that was the promotion of Landon Donovan to VP, and is it VP or president now?
He here I got it right here. He's a executive VP of
Yeah.
soccer
So
operations.
that means he's right below. Yeah, that's right below Mr. Campos. Yeah.
Ricardo.
So that's actually pretty good for him, man. That's being a big decision maker up there.
Yeah, so the big thing here, man, is let's kind of dig into this, man. Like why? Like supposedly he wanted to become a manager. Everyone was talking about him possibly becoming a manager in MLS, possibly LA Galaxy, possibly San Jose Earthquakes. He was doing relatively well with Loyal. Playoff bound pretty much for the most part every year. Didn't happen the first year of Loyal, but that was because of obviously some incidents that occurred. But I mean, he's been pushing the club, for pretty much playoff talent and doing relatively well, I guess you could say. Um, but why do you think he did this? I mean, is it the MLS thing? Maybe he needs to help Ricardo. He needs to get prepared for that, or just like he wasn't feeling it, or what do you think?
Dude, the speculation train has been going in my head, and I think you hit the nail on the head. I mean, I think it's an MLS preparation. Personally, Nate Miller is just he was ready to be coach. He was going to be a head coach regardless, whether it was going to be with the Loyal or some other team. Um, and during the season, you saw it, man. Like Nate was up. He was standing up, giving directions, giving like talking to the players and stuff like that. He was essentially almost a head coach, but without the title, right? Um, he did very well. He learned the system that Landon wanted to implement. He learned the play where they should be, and he was definitely there, man. He's just like when Coach Steve Fisher retired from San Diego State basketball, and Brian Dutcher just kind of like came right in.
Yeah,
That's kind of what it felt like. It was just kind of like a passing the torch. Nate proved himself. He proved he could run the club. So, and then Landon now he's looking at a bigger picture. What's that big picture? I don't know. No, I don't think it's it seems like the role for Landon is too big for the USL. That's definitely
yeah,
more of a, hey, we got a US soccer legend, you know,
yeah,
that's general manager status, running our team, right under Ricardo. Uh, that's enticing to any investor that wants to bring the team up to the MLS, right? I mean, they're setting themselves up. That's how I feel. I mean, but we're not gonna find out until probably like mid to end December to see what MLS is gonna say about that.
yeah. Spot on, man. I feel like he's too much of a legend, a living legend, icon, just to be a manager, right? He's getting called up to comment, to comment on on matches in MLS and in the World Cup. He's wanted here and there, and everybody wants his opinion, and they want him on TV interviews. And I think he couldn't do his job the way he wanted to, being a manager of Loyal. And I guess I guess we can kind of say, in my opinion, I kind of felt that way, too. How Loyal fell out of the playoffs. I think that it could be where he able to mentally prepare the team for the playoffs, and that's the way we lost. The way we lost, in our playoff match against the Roots, right? So I think like how you just said, I think he's bigger than the USL, and I think for him, what he's doing in that position that he's getting or that he got, I think it's behind the scenes. It's in preparation for for the whole MLS situation as far as the discussion and the negotiations of getting an MLS club, here in San Diego. So, my whole comment, when we fell out of the playoffs, Estilolo, I was like, if Landon next year doesn't get us farther than what he did in the past couple of years, he needs to move on. He needs to move on. He needs to walk on. And then boom, he already walked on, but it's because I'm not sure if you heard what I was saying, but he he made the decision to step up his game, step up his whole soccer executive position, and then kind of do big things, right? So this is very very interesting on what the basically the position that he got, and what's been going on with the whole MLS talk. There's really been no news on that right now. I'm hearing things at the end of, or beginning of next year. There might be some talk in regards of reporting some stuff out. But Nate Miller is going to be the coach, which is, you know if it's going to be anybody, it's going to be him. So it's not going to be too much of a big change. He's been in there in the trenches with Landon. So I mean, it's like, you got to maintain some type of consistency there. But obviously a big movement there in regards to what can possibly happen. However, let me see what your opinion on this is. is that the season ticket information came out, and it looks like we're going to be playing at Torero. A lot of people were thinking that we're going to make the move to Snapdragon, just to kind of showcase our what Loyal can be, what Loyal can do, what us as supporters can do and be at Snapdragon. But the decision was made to go to to play at Torero. So what's your opinion on that?
Um, I think it's actually pretty smart. Obviously we wanted to go to Snapdragon, right? And with the whole aspect of the possibility of an MLS team coming in, I think SDSU definitely did not want to get into a contract where they had to honor an MLS team under USL, money. You know what I mean? I think it was just one of those things where the timing of the MLS news was not in the Loyal advantage, right? So now you have SDSU that's just going to be like, well, we know you're going to MLS because we heard this rumor, so we're going to charge you XXX amount of money. Can the Loyal sustain X amount of money and create that much revenue on a USL schedule? Probably not. So it probably makes more sense for them to stay in Torero at least for another year while they start building up that MLS income, right? All that revenue. Because I mean, even for a USL team, right? If they were to say they were to go to Snapdragon, right, it'd be very tough for them to sell out the whole place. Um, even with the prices they're at now, as a second division team, they would have to sell a ton of beer and a ton of concessions just to be able to make up that kind of money that they're going to need for the rent and stuff like that, and for operations and at the stadium in general. So since they can't charge those MLS prices yet, I think it made a lot of sense for them to start selling at Torero now, because you never know if they do end up being an MLS team. You know, San Diego State might be like halfway through the season. Okay, cool. Come start playing in the stadium. We'll cut you guys some slack because we know you guys are going to start making more money in the future. So here, we'll get you going. But because there is uncertainty over what team is going to go to the MLS from San Diego, I think SDSU just kind of wanted to hold back a little bit, and I don't think Loyal was ready to commit to that much money because they weren't even sure themselves.
Wow. Yeah, I like your take a lot better than mine. I'm basically kind of thinking that I'm not sure if it's good news that this happened. That I was kind of thinking more on the side that what's
It's
going
not
on
them.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is that maybe it's not going to be Loyal going to MLS. Maybe the ownership group's going to go a different route. But I have no idea. I have no idea. To be honest, I'm a little bit upset. Just because I think I've been to Snapdragon a couple times already with the wave play there. I think it's time. The couple times that I went there, with the concessions and then things of that nature, just like the ambiance there and stuff like that. So I had a great time. I was really hoping to see Loyal there. I was really hoping to to see Loyal playing against Orange County and having all the Orange County uh you know uh fans coming out, all the supporters coming out, and the Phoenix supporters coming out in great numbers and having a great ambiance there, and then kind of just making it feel like a first division type of atmosphere. um Torero, like I love Torero, and obviously I'm going to be going there. Obviously, since it was already announced that we're going to be playing there, but I was kind of more, looking forward to going to Snapdragon. But hey, it's all good. If it's at the end of the day, if it's for the better cause of Loyal getting to where they need to be, I think that I think it's a great move. I mean, I'm not upset about it at all. Like um in that type of aspect, but I was just kind of more like, well, I would love to go to Snapdragon. It was a great place, but I'm not crazy upset about it. But it's just I was a little bit surprised that it didn't happen. But a lot of things are surprising right now, right? With the news going out with Loyal, we're not sure what's going to happen with the whole MLS thing. But there's just so much soccer, right? There's so much soccer stuff going on right now that's going to be. It's not going to stop. We got the World Cup's not over yet. We got the whole Copa America thing that's going to be hitting the news. news. We got the whole MLS about their expansion. SD Loyal's season is going to be starting up in a couple of months. We have to hear about the whole roster moves, which we will get into right now. In regards, who will FC Lowell be signing? Will Landon kind of taking charge of or just um, up in his positioning there in Lowell in regards to soccer operations. He's going to have more hand. I was saying more scouting and things of that sense as well. So I think
Yep.
right now it's going to be very interesting to see what type of players that we get. But speaking of players in the roster moves, you saw the players that are returning for Loyal.
Yeah, I mean, it's it, I can't even just stress enough how impressive it is for USL Club to hold on to that many core players. I think he's definitely going to set us up for success for season 4.
Let me get into who is returning, all right? Because I think this is very important. Goalkeepers, Duran Free, which is obviously a young signing, talented signing. Koke Vegas is gonna stay with us another year, which I was super surprised.
That, you
Um,
know what? Honestly,
yeah.
I'm surprised too, but at the same time, I am not upset about it.
Oh, not at all, not at all. I'm surprised, but super stoked about it. It would
I'm
have,
just but
yeah,
let me caveat that real fast. I'm surprised that he did not get snatched up by a bigger team.
yeah,
That's
exactly.
the only caveat. It's not that I'm upset that he's back. I'm very happy that he's back. I'm just surprised that nobody picked him up.
Yeah, I think and I think it's one I just really enjoyed just being here. I think him being here at least 2 years, could benefit him as well. Playing here under Landon Donovan, it's going to stick on his resume. And he did, I mean, a relatively good job, for us. So I was actually surprised, like how you said. I thought he was going to get picked up, or go back to Spain, maybe play, in a club, first division in Spain or something like that. Um, so especially what happened with Spain in the World Cup. You know what I'm saying? with their
I know, right?
with their own penalties and stuff like that. So I was thinking maybe you might get a look, about going back to Spain and try to get in that Spain squad. But yeah, super stoked. Coca Vegas is coming back, gonna be with us another year. It's gonna be super awesome. Defenders, we got Ebenezer Akon back. Kyle Adams, which is good. He improved his game. Jackson Kasanzu, obviously was a new signing, but it's good to have him back just because consistency again. Elijah Marin, super stoked, talent. Camden Riley, Grant Stoneman. I was a little bit surprised Grant Stoneman's coming back. To be honest, I thought he was going to be a wild card there in regards to leaving. So, but yeah, I'm not sure what you think about him. But I think there's better options out there. But I ain't tripping.
He's consistent in the back. I think I think it's really more of the aspect of having a core back.
Yeah,
He's definitely one of the people that we have. Um, it's going to be very hard to find a lot of talent to fill in that defensive side. But I don't know. I think as being one of the core guys, I think it's a win for us.
yeah, I would agree. At the end of the day, so midfielders, we got Charlie Adams back. Super stoked about that. Alejandro Guido's coming back. Awesome. I don't know. I was thinking, I wasn't sure what was going on with Guido, man. I was like thinking either he was gonna go somewhere else or maybe take a break, or I don't know. I wasn't sure if he was gonna come back or not. So I'm pretty
I mean,
happy.
he's getting his coach's license too.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know what his plans are. It kind of just feels like kind of just felt like he had some other stuff going on, so I wasn't really sure what was going to go on with him. So I'm super stoked about that. Morgan Hathworth is coming back. Again, he didn't really have too many uh, first team starts, but he's obviously someone we have on the bench that has been with the club for a couple years now. So I'm actually surprised he actually came back. To be fair, but I mean, hey, but how you said, having some consistency, he knows that the game plan and then what needs to be done, under Nate, and Landon. So I mean, at the end of the day, that's what matters there. Colin Martin, obviously, great, freaking great player. He's coming back. Nothing negative to say about him. Jack Blake, obviously back. Forward, you have Thomas Samang, Evan Conway, Nick Moon, and Tuimo Shabane. So that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's actually really impressive.
So the big news is obviously who we don't have. The negative first, then we'll go to the positive. Is Kyle. Kyle Vassell is not going to be with us next season, which I'm pretty bummed out because he was actually my favorite player. He's my son's favorite player as well. Met him a few times. Took a couple pictures with my son. So I'm pretty bummed out that he's not going to be with us anymore. But what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean that was actually very, very surprising. I thought for sure that he was one of our difference makers here this season. Um, I, I think it all kind of had to do with it. He just kind of wanted to be closer to home. Um,
Of
not
course,
saying that not saying that he can't cut it out here or anything like that. I'm sure I'm sure he had his reasons for for being able to to not stick with us for another year. But at the same time, I mean, you're not going to be upset at the guy because he wants to be back home, right?
of
He
course.
gave it all. He fell in love with the city, and the city fell in love with him. The fans fell in love with them. Definitely a fan favorite. Definitely a Chavos favorite for sure. Also, he was a fiend. Like, he was pretty much the face of the loyal fiends, right? With the
Yeah,
mask and everything.
yeah,
Um, but that was definitely that was a little sad to see. Um, you know, like I said, we're gonna miss him. I mean, he's definitely one of those guys that you always want to have on your team, and he brought that energy every single game. And I think you know, he if he ever decides to come back, I don't think we'll ever say no. But yeah, he's definitely a forward I'm gonna miss for sure
yeah, no doubt. So, Kyle, if you're listening to this, an honorary Chavos member, we'll give you some
for
tacos
life.
whenever we'll serve you some tacos. We'll cook us some tacos for you. If you want to come down again to San Diego and want to hang out with Chavos, man, you are with us. You are one of us, man. So, hope everything turns out well for you. So, spend some time with family and go do what you got to do in your career. But San Diego's
Yep,
here,
yep,
and we know who you are. We will remember you forever, and you're welcome here. So you will definitely be missed.
definitely.
So moving on to the other aspect, who I guess he would say that this would be a positive move in a lot of people's opinions, and covering or looking over social media. I think a lot of people are happy about this. Is that the news is that Andrew Carlton's not coming back, that the decision was made for him not to come back. So, what do
Yeah,
you think
and
of that?
so I I'm happy he's not coming back just because I think it was a failed experiment. Um, he for the level that for the amount of criticism that came with his signing, he needed to step up and be one of the all time superstars in San Diego history in order for him to
Yeah,
succeed here. Um, that didn't happen, and that wasn't going to happen. You could tell, like like statistically, maybe yeah, his levels were fantastic, but at the same time, if he's just coming in as a super sub here and there, um, and then just every once in a while, yeah, doing great plays, making running a lot, being one of the more active players, the juice was not worth the squeeze. And I know that yeah, he had a lot of supporters backing him, but at the same time, there's a lot of us that are just like, all right, dude, like you came with a lot of baggage and you're not showing us anything. What the fuck's going on? Um, but obviously the front office felt they needed to evaluate and really, really evaluate to see if he was going to come back or not. And he's not, and it's not to say that he won't have success else or that another team's not going to pick him up. But that experiment in San Loyal is over, and I think there's a big sigh of relief among a majority of the fan base that he's not coming back. I know there's a small majority that still wanted, there's a
yeah,
small minority that still wanted to keep him around. Um, but it was not worth it. I don't think it was just for the amount of problems and discussion that came with them and the amount of like just uh I don't even know how to put it, just turmoil that it brought. It was not worth it, I don't think, and I'm kind of glad he's gone.
Hey, salute to that. So here's a Chela salute to that. Everybody, he is 86. No.
Somewhere. I don't know where, but I don't know. He might have stuck around in San Diego. You never know, dude. But shit, I mean, best of luck to him. Hopefully, just want him to, find his peace, man. Nobody. I mean, it's like he's still a human being at the end of the day. Um,
Yeah, of
but at the
course.
same time, I don't want to wish any kind of hate on him. But at the same time, I'm just kind of glad that we don't have to deal with that
Of
anymore.
course not. Of course not. Definitely looking at him. I actually mentioned quite a few things, positive notes about him. I've seen him practice. At the local practice fields. He has definitely good talent. I just didn't think that he fit. Kind of when he came in, he just didn't fit for some reason for me. Like he didn't have much speed. Obviously he would come in, play a couple minutes, as a sub. I think it was maybe once or twice. A couple times he might have started, but never really gelled with the rest of the team, in my opinion. But he definitely, had some moments where he would, send some rockets, towards the goal on the opposing, goalkeeper and stuff like that, and cause a disturbance and try to, and he tried to score and he was doing the obviously a relatively good job when he came in. He kind of disrupted a few things, but he just wasn't. I think at the end of the day, how we were talking about in past episodes, that he would have to have been coming in and scoring goals for kind of people to kind of start warming up to him, but he wasn't really coming in and doing anything, in my opinion. So I mean, but the best to him wherever he goes. Obviously, don't wish him no harm. Um, as a person at all. Just hope he grows, continues to grow, and and matures as a person and and a soccer player, and
Yep.
and wish him the best. But the storybook ends here with that, and I'm just really looking forward to the signings that we're going to be in the next weeks, next month or so. So I'm really looking forward to see what's going to happen there in regards to our signings. This is going to be a relatively pretty good pool of players that are going to be available. Um, and I'm just really looking forward to that. And think about it too. The World Cup's over in a couple weeks, right? And then it's going to be New Year's, the holidays, and we're all going to be busy. We're not going to really be paying attention, no mind about all that. And the
Yep.
next thing January is here, and then a preseason is going to be here in February. That quick,
Oh,
that quick like that. So that's why I'm kind of really happy that the World Cup kind of happened this winter, because it's actually kind of keeping us really, engaged in the, in something, the locals and us Chavos are all, still talking footy, on the Discord and stuff like that. So, it's kind of keeping everyone engaged, and still communicating with each other. And next thing you know, in a couple months, it's going to be preseason. But there's still all this news about, the Copa America and stuff like that, and kind of see what's going to be going on there. Which is actually pretty big news, because I really would like to see the Mexican teams back in the Copa America, because Cholos is right, obviously over the border, and they get into the Copa Libertadores. We potentially here in San Diego have the chance of seeing these top level clubs here in TJ, with Boca Juniors and River Plate, Atlético Nacional, and and Palmeiras and stuff like that, here in TJ. So I think it's a lot of interesting things going on in the soccer world right now again. But yeah, man, it's just a lot of good things going on. Those next 4 years are going to be amazing, with so much news again, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
yeah. No, it's gonna be very interesting the next few days. Sorry, next few months, and I know that Liga MX is gonna be starting up pretty soon too. Like you said, MLS is gonna be starting back up pretty soon again. So it's there's a lot of good soccer coming up. Then I think this the soccer's are starting up too. But I think we have a lot of great news coming our way. I don't know why. I don't have any insider information or anything, but I do feel like we're gonna see something big happening in San Diego this coming year, and I'm super excited.
Definitely, me too. So yeah, let's close out with some news if you have any in regards to Chavos. How did everything go with the whole turkey drive?
The turkey drive went amazing. We were able to hand out all the turkeys. I think we got pretty close to almost, like in the 90s and stuff like that. But we handed them all out within an hour, and that was including bags of food. Thank you to everybody for all the donations. Thank you to everybody that donated money, that donated canned foods, that dropped them off, that volunteered. We had a lot of locals that came out and helped us out. We always appreciate those guys. It was super nice of them. And again, we were also helped out this year by the SD Wave. They donated too, so that was pretty
Ooh,
awesome. San Diego
nice.
Soccer's donated as well too.
Wow.
So we made an impact. Um, and it's only going to get bigger. Like this year it was a little bit more hectic this year because I think it was one of the first Thanksgivings where COVID really wasn't a factor anymore. So
Right.
people are definitely out of town. So we had a good amount of volunteer force. Maybe not as much as the previous years, um, but we still had a good 10, 15 people out there helping us out, handing out turkeys, making bags and everything, and everybody was super appreciative. We're again, it's Adrian. Adrian really killed it. Getting everything set up. Our philanthropy director. There's a lot of stuff going on, and I know for us as a Chavos group, we're going to be having our Christmas party here coming up. Um, we're going to be at Def Brewing. So yeah, we're gonna be at Def Brewing this Friday, having a little annual Christmas party. Yeah, we're very we're looking forward to the holidays and being able to celebrate with all our friends and now family, right?
Right. Yeah. You cut off a little bit, but I just want to finish that
I
last part.
apologize
But
about that.
you said yeah, you said Chavos are going to be at Def Brewing this weekend, Friday, right?
Yeah, actually tomorrow. Yep.
Yeah, tomorrow. So tomorrow, Friday. Um, Yeah, so I'm happy that the whole turkey drive is growing. With the wave, that's pretty awesome. That wave, and San Diego Soccer's are obviously acknowledging the supporters groups. That's here in San Diego. With Chavos and locals, and I think the momentum needs to grow. And I'm really calling out every San Diego soccer lover. If you're just a casual follower of either the wave or loyal band, but watching the World Cup, it kind of gives you that urge to kind of go out more and be like, man, I want to experience this more. Because if you're looking at Bluefoot, you're looking at Fair Play, you're looking at Shakespeare's in San Diego. Props to those places for being soccer hubs, here in San Diego for many years. But I mean, if you want to experience that, experience it with us, at Torero, when we're at 109, supporting, loyal. And obviously, if there's, people that aren't able to go to loyal games, or they prefer a wave, there's that as well. But right now, there's just so much fervor right now with
Yeah.
soccer that let it continue, help it grow. We're still
Exactly.
growing, right here in San Diego. There's always thoughts on how we can improve things and kind of do more things in the community, and kind of grow and get more members in either supporters groups, for loyal. But I'm super stoked on this New Year's, what's to come. And I'm just super excited, man. Like, I'm not yelling right now up and down and doing somersaults and stuff like that, but but I'm like super happy on what's to come. I'm actually going to be going to the USA match against Colombia in at Carson, in the Galaxy Stadium next month.
Oh,
Um,
that was gonna be pretty fun.
yeah, so I'm pretty excited about that. I haven't been to an international match in probably about set 8 years, 7 8 years. So I'm pretty stoked about that. So I mean, that's kind of things to come. We're going to be getting prepared for that international years. With the potential Copa America and then the World Cup. So we can help the soccer community grow here in San Diego, and support Loyal. And then who knows, we can possibly have an international friendly here in Snapdragon.
Yeah, no, that'd be pretty cool. And also, if anybody that wants to get out there, they're definitely more than welcome to come out to the San Diego Soccers too, man. I mean, the Chavos, they got the Brujos el 78. It's the rowdiest group inside the indoor soccer league. Um, yeah, and so come on out, man. Season's starting up pretty soon.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Again, there's so much soccer going on, man. My head's gonna explode. So,
I know, right?
but yeah. Well, cool, bro. Well, thank you everybody for listening. I think that is it, man. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so, man. How about one more before the new year? We'll talk about the World Cup final, and
Yeah,
then
let's do
hopefully
that.
by then we'll hear some news about MLS.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot more news coming out in regards to the Copa America the next coming days. We'll
Yep,
talk
yep.
about the winner of the World Cup and kind of what it means to pretty much um, the soccer world, really. Because it's going to be a really big deal if Argentina wins it. Be a big deal if England
Brazil
wins
wins
it.
it. Yeah, it's
So
gonna
it's
be a
going to
big
be really,
deal if anybody wins it.
yeah, whoever wins if Portugal wins it, so it's gonna be a really big deal. So we'll talk about that and yeah, just keep the soccer discussion going, man.
Yeah. So actually,
So
quick
cool.
quick thing about that. So out of the 8 teams that are left, 4 teams have won the World Cup, and the other 4 have not. So
There
there's a
you go.
50-50 chance we might have a new champion
Yeah, and that's gonna be very good. That's good for the soccer world, just because everyone's always saying it's either Brazil that's always winning it, or France,
or Germany.
or Germany, or So it's
Yeah,
like speaking of Germany, let's not even go there. So
I know. That's a topic for another day.
yeah, but yeah, everybody. So thanks for listening. There's a lot of soccer discussion to be going on in the future, and yeah, join us. And until then,
All right, brother. Hey, happy holidays to you and family. Okay.
yeah, you as well. All right, everybody. Till next time.
Take care, guys. Bye.
All right, bye now.